The Industrial Development Corporation, in partnership with South African Tourism and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, have brought together select establishments, airlines and tour operators to launch a travel campaign aimed at stimulating economic recovery and activity in the tourism sector. Let's get more on this then. We're now joined via Zoom by Moseketsi Mpeta, who's the Head of Services and Tourism at the Industrial Development Corporation. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks very much for joining us, ma'am. Thanks very much for joining us here on SABC News.
No, thanks, Flo. It's Moseketsi.
Oh, Moseketsi. All right. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's talk about this campaign then, and how much is this campaign expected to generate, and how many jobs are expected to be created? I mean, I'm sure you've looked at all of it as the IDC, what exactly how it would benefit, but also certainly this is a business you're running, so obviously how it would benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Flo, for that introduction. So the purpose really of the campaign is, as you rightly pointed out, to stimulate, travel demand into the sector. As we know, many jobs have been lost. And I think even just on the bookings alone, I think, many establishments, some have not even been able to survive. So what we sort of, this initiative that we came up with as IDC in partnership with the South African Tourism and Tourism Business Council, was to then put together some sort of financial support. I think for 30,000 domestic trips. So the trip can be anywhere within the borders of South Africa, any registered tourism establishment. All of them are invited to be part of this. So is really to then say, as part of the booking. So once you've registered on the portal, we have a dedicated website, saishome.co.za. So once on a daily basis, we make draws. So once your name gets lucky, and then you get awarded a voucher, you then have 21 days to then make a booking. So the discount that we then offering in this case is a 35% discount, limited to 2,500 per trip. So again, there when you do the numbers to say for anybody to be able to then qualify for the full 2,500 discount, you need to have a total spend of just over 7,000. So from our calculations, we estimating that I think this will be able to plow back plus minus I think 300 million I think into the sector, which we believe I think is going to really go a long way, because I think the recovery can actually start to happen. Jobs can be restored I think once people start traveling and we start patronizing I think these establishments that have been hit hard by COVID.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You say that recovery can start to happen. You seem very confident that the sector will indeed recover, post a pandemic. What is that confidence based on?
Yeah, so certainly I think we all know, I think that tourism, many establishments were all, I think, forced to shut down. So I think with now the COVID, I think it's almost behind us, if one is to call that. We are now starting to see, people starting to travel, though, I must mention that I think on the corporate side, so more your business travel, we're still seeing, I think, new trends that, some corporates will not necessarily go back 100% to maybe going to the offices, or they will continue having conferences, via virtual means, as opposed to them, maybe convening as we used to before COVID. So for us, I think it's really a question of, I think the infrastructure is already there. We already have establishments that have been developed. So for some, they may then require some sort of repurposing to say maybe now the trends going forward, they're not going to be very much strong on the business side. To then, how do you then reposition yourself to then maybe now be more appealing to your domestic travel market, as an example. But we do believe, I think even on the international front, we do believe that the signs of recovery are there. I think we all tired with very limited travel in the last 2 years, and I think people are really yearning to go out and travel. But again, we are also mindful, I think, of the economic pressures that are facing everyone.
You've obviously started to take steps in assisting the tourism industry, but it's also very important, of course, to look at long term in terms of what needs to be done to build a more resilient tourism economy that can withstand, and we hope this won't happen, but can withstand future pandemics. And of course, that's always the industry that's most hard hit when we have any kind of problem, isn't it?
No, certainly, and I think with the situation this time around is, the challenges are not only, facing us in South Africa, but it's a global, a challenge that, all the countries, right through the world, I think we all now fight for the same type of tourists because, you would see, from various news channels, some airlines and so on that, also have not been able to survive the COVID, just the capacity also in terms of the airlift and so on. So we do believe that I think, the recovery will happen, but maybe as opposed to probably maybe challenges that we've had, say, previously, things like your Ebolas and so on. This time around, I think we all, globally are fighting for the same, tourists to be able to travel to our respective countries.
All right. So thanks very much for giving us your time and shedding light indeed on this campaign. Moseketsi Mpeta, who's the head of services and tourism at the Industrial Development Corporation. Thanks very much.